licensed acupuncturist with areas of focus in neurology, allergies and asthma, and orthopedics. Oof, how about that for a bio? So when you hear that, when I read that out loud, your treatment philosophy and your mission statement, what do you think? What comes to mind?
It is actually my guiding principles on a day-to-day basis. I like to say, as you read, I don't treat disease processes or signs and symptoms, but really whole heart-centered dynamic beings moving through time and space. And when you view the people in front of you as whole dynamic heart-centered beings, it changes the game. It makes me listen, be way more present with my patients. It's what I'm training my physicians here at Nature Cures on doing as well. And I realized, it's a different way of practice that a lot of folks don't get. You don't get it in school. I've had seven residencies that over the last 2 decades that I've supported here in my clinic, and really training the physicians of tomorrow. It's like we don't really get that. It is part of the naturopathic philosophy of treating people, but to really put it into practice is an art, and I'm pleased to say it really keeps me present in the now.
Right. Absolutely. I loved it. When I was just sniffing around your website, I love that that's out there, bold. And I can resonate with your treatment philosophy and mission statement as well. So I really thought it was
nice.
Great. And I think we needed to start that. How about further familiarizing the audience with who you are? You're a naturopathic doctor, you're an acupuncturist, but a little bit before that, how did you become Dr. Eckel?
I'm originally from Western Pennsylvania, as we were talking before the show, and I moved out west. What brought me out to Portland, Oregon, I worked for the Forest Service in the early 90s during the controversial spotted owl, debacle up there with the old growth forest. And I worked in Quilcene, Washington. I hooted the spotted owl, so I can speak owl. And it was the first time on the planet that I really felt at home. Like, wow, I love these trees. I love the mountains. I love the people, the culture, the climate. And you don't get many people saying that about the Northwest with the cold, rain, and damp. But so it drew me up here. And at that time, everybody was moving to Seattle and San Francisco, and those were way too big of cities for me. So I came out and I did the eclectic Portland guy thing. I was writing timber appeals on old growth timber sales. I was a preschool teacher in the Montessori school district, and I also had a booth at Saturday Market of all things. It's the artist market in Portland, and I was making kaleidoscopes and marbles at the time. And to be honest, maybe a little bit in central Pennsylvania, there was a guy saying, I'm going to go to Toronto and learn how to heal people with hot and cold water. And I just thought, Alvin, you're a freak. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I know ibuprofen. I was a hockey player, just allopathic medicine dude. I had my broken ankle at that point, really grateful for the surgeons. But I came out here. And at the time, I thought I was eating healthy. I was a vegetarian, quote unquote, but I was not. I was run down, feeling fatigued. And at that time, it was like the beginning of ADD diagnosis as well. So I was in the classroom, watching children being prescribed Ritalin and just really sucking the soul out of their eyes. So these kind of different areas of my life coalesced, and my community at the time said, look, you're not feeling well. Why don't you go to this school? They'll help you. It was more natural. It was a natural medicine school. It was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And I went, and they addressed my diet, and they called me a junk food vegetarian. Like, I was eating, healthy, quote unquote, frozen vegetarian meals, French fries, it's like, whatever. I didn't know anything in my early 20s, and still learning today, by the way. But, at that point, junk food vegetarian, I thought, well, this is interesting. They addressed my diet. They didn't give me any drugs. and I felt better. And they kind of dubbed this junk food vegetarian moniker on me. And as I was looking at these kids in the classroom, I had my poster child for going into naturopathic medical school and Chinese medicine school was little boy Michael. And I like to say Michael included others in his learning. And he was a rambunctious dude, pretty wild guy. And in a Montessori classroom, you get to choose your work and, sit down in groups or by yourself and do it. And, he was always in other people's work. And, the head teacher advocated for the parents, like, I think, Michael has attentional issues. Will you take him into the pediatrician, see what they say? And lo and behold, he got prescribed, diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and prescribed Ritalin at that point. And I remember the first day clearly when he came into the classroom, that little sparkle that's in our eyes, and in kids in particular, they have that little sparkle coming out of there. That was gone, and poor Michael was slumped over in his chair and desk. He definitely sat in his chair all day. But, boy, that med, he was 4 years old, just sucked the life force out of him. And at that point, I was like, I think there's got to be a better way. And I knew if I went back to school, I wanted to be in service to people. And so I had all of these different paths leading me into it was National College of Natural Medicine at that point, or naturopathic medicine. Now it's a university. But, boy, I have not regretted it one day. That was 1996 when I started school, graduated in 2001, and haven't looked back once. It's been an awesome journey.
So is this where you got your acupuncture degree? And did you do all of this at the same time? Like, how did that happen?
I did, yes. So I did the dual degree program. So it was 5 years. I was the last year of 5 years. You can't even do it in 5 years anymore. I like to say, it warped me for the better. It was, year-round, 5 years, intensive study. Naturopathic doctorate and master's of science in Oriental medicine. So I wrote a doctoral thesis on allergies and asthma. And then I wrote in Chinese medicine a dissertation on the energetics of Western botanicals. So, needless to say, pretty eclectic practitioner. And I use the Chinese medicine platform and put the naturopathic medicine system on top of that. And it's a very powerful, potent way of practicing.
So this is how you've integrated all of what you just explained is how you integrate how you take care of people then. The Chinese basis with the naturopathic medicine on top, right?
Yeah, totally. And, I'm sitting here in my clinic and I painted the walls yellow, and I did that on purpose because in Chinese medicine, yellow represents the spleen and the stomach, which is the digestive tract, right? And that is the overlay, that's the connection between naturopathic medicine and Chinese medicine. And there's a tract in Chinese medicine, some of my herbal teachers were of the spleen and stomach camp. And so it was just a natural kind of linking of two systems through the gut. So, food is our best medicine. Getting your assimilation and your digestion under control really helps heal the body. So there's a lot of different Venn diagrams, so to speak, that really link these things together in my head at this point.
Yeah, I've always found it fascinating, whether it's Chinese medicine, whether it's Ayurveda, whether it's more recent naturopathic medicine, or even the true philosophical foundations of chiropractic, how they're all very, very similar. Very, very similar.
Yeah, those basic truths really play out through with, basically with my mission statement is, it's that innate wisdom of the body can heal itself given the right information. And so, definitely on the underpinnings of chiropractic too, I've studied that as well. Not in school per se, but I do naturopathic manipulation technique, which nobody has ever heard of, but trained by osteopaths, naturopaths, and chiropractors on how to physically manipulate the body for health.